Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into Think and Grow Rich with me today? We're unlocking the secrets to success, or at least that's what Napoleon Hill promises.
Well, promises is a big word, but he makes a strong case, that's for sure. Even almost a century later, the book still resonates.
It does. Okay, so for anyone joining us for the first time, we're talking about Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and this deep dive, we're dissecting the core principles he laid out and seeing how they hold up in today's world.
Right. Hill spent years studying super successful people like, think Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, trying to pinpoint what made them different. He was convinced there was a formula for success.
A formula, like a magic recipe.
Not magic, but principles. Hill believed anyone could achieve success if they understood and applied these principles. It wasn't about luck or circumstance. It was about mindset, strategy, and action.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So spill the beans. What's the first principle we need to master?
Well, buckle up because Hill starts strong. He talks about burning desire, and no, it's not just wanting something. It's way more intense than that.
Like, how intense are we talking here?
Think all-consuming passion, a desire that fuels your every action. Hill tells this amazing story about Edwin Barnes, who was absolutely dead set on becoming business partners with Thomas Edison.
Edison. Now, that's a name synonymous with success. But how does a nobody become partners with a titan like Edison?
That's the thing. Barnes didn't see himself as a nobody. He visualized himself in that partnership role with unwavering certainty. He even moved to Edison's city and took a low-level job at his company, just to be closer to his goal.
Wow, that's dedication. But did it work? I mean, moving cities and taking a menial job doesn't automatically make you someone's business partner.
Exactly. And for years, there was no sign of it happening. But Barnes never wavered. He held on to that vision, that burning desire.
That's incredible. Imagine having that level of certainty about your own goals. I mean, you makes you wonder what you could accomplish, right?
Absolutely. And that's Hill's point. That unwavering belief, that crystal clear visualization is powerful. It's like sending a direct message to your subconscious mind, priming it for success.
Okay, so we've got the burning desire, but how do we get our subconscious mind on board with the plan? Hill talks about money consciousness, right?
He does. But it's not as mystical as it might sound. Hill argued that repeating affirmations mindlessly isn't enough. You have to truly internalize that desired outcome. Feel it as if it's already yours. Imagine the money coming to you. See yourself achieving those goals.
So it's not enough to just say, I am wealthy, over and over. You have to actually believe it, embody it.
Exactly. It's about shifting your entire mindset to one of abundance, not just intellectually, but emotionally. It's like what you focus on, you attract.
It's interesting because that idea of focused thought actually aligns with some modern research on neuroplasticity, the idea that our brains can rewire themselves based on our thoughts and experiences.
Right. It's not just wishful thinking. There's real science backing this up.
Yeah.
So you've got your burning desire, your subconscious is aligned. What's next?
Well, I'm guessing it's not just sitting around wishing for things to happen, right? What about knowledge? Don't we need that too?
Absolutely. And Hill makes a distinction between general knowledge and specialized knowledge, arguing that when it comes to accumulating wealth, specialized knowledge is key.
Makes sense. But what does that look like in practice? Give us an example.
Sure. Hill uses the example of highly educated professors who often struggle financially. They might have tons of general knowledge, but they haven't necessarily cultivated a specific, marketable skill set.
I get it. So it's not just about being smart, it's about being smart about what you choose to focus on.
Exactly. It's about honing in on your unique talents and passions. Hill, back then, he talked about things like night school, correspondence courses as ways to gain specialized knowledge.
Which are still relevant today, just in different forms. We have online courses, specialized workshops, even mentorship opportunities.
Exactly. It's about finding those avenues for focused learning that align with your goals.
So, burning desire? Check. Subconscious on board? Check. Specialized knowledge? Check. What else do we need to add to this recipe for success?
Now we're talking strategy. Hill wouldn't just leave you hanging with all this knowledge and passion. He also emphasizes organized planning.
Right. It's about translating that burning desire into concrete, actionable steps. Like, what's the plan, Stan?
Exactly. Hill was all about having a clear plan. You need to know where you're going and how you're going to get there. He stressed the importance of defining your goals, outlining your strategies, and setting deadlines.
No more flying by the seat of your pants, huh?
Not if you want to achieve significant success. Hill was big on having a roadmap.
And this roadmap, does it involve other people? I mean, can we achieve great things alone? Or do we need a team, a support system?
That's a fantastic question, and Hill actually addresses this head-on with his concept of the mastermind, which is essentially the idea of two or more minds working in harmony to achieve a shared goal. He uses the example of Henry Ford and his inner circle. You had brilliant minds like Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone, Luther Burbank. Ford surrounded himself with people who could inspire him, challenge him, and help him see things from different perspectives.
Okay, so teamwork, collaboration is key. But let's be real for a second. Even with all the burning desire, the planning, the support system in the world, things don't always go smoothly, right?
Yeah.
What happens when we hit a roadblock when fear creeps in?
You're hitting on a crucial point because Hill dedicates a significant portion of the book to the topic of fear. He considered it one of the biggest obstacles to success. He even identifies 6 specific fears that hold people back.
6. Let's hear them. What are these dream-crushing fears we need to watch out for?
He talks about the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death.
Wow, that's quite a list. But he doesn't just leave us paralyzed by fear, does he? I mean, he must offer some solutions, some strategies for overcoming these fears.
He does. Hill was a big believer in the power of positive thinking and self-mastery. He believed that we can overcome our fears by confronting them head-on, replacing negative thoughts with positive affirmations, and cultivating a mindset of courage and resilience.
Easier said than done, right? But I get it. It's about shifting that internal dialogue, reframing those fears as challenges to overcome.
Exactly. And Hill also introduces this really intriguing concept called the sixth sense in Think and Grow Rich. It's where things get a little less about tangible strategies and more about tapping into a deeper source of wisdom and guidance.
The sixth sense. Okay, now you've piqued my curiosity. What exactly is the sixth sense, according to Napoleon?
Well, he describes it as a connection to infinite intelligence, a source of insights and inspiration that goes beyond our normal thinking processes. It's like tapping into a wellspring of creativity, intuition, and higher wisdom.
So how do we tap into this sixth sense? Is it something we're all born with, or is it a skill we can develop?
Hill believed that everyone has the potential to access the sixth sense, but it requires deliberate effort and practice. He talks about the importance of quieting the mind, connecting with our intuition, and cultivating a sense of openness to receive guidance from a higher source.
Interesting. It sounds like meditation, mindfulness, maybe even certain creative practices could be ways to tap into that sixth sense.
Exactly. And Hill himself had his own unique practices for accessing this inner wisdom. He talks about his invisible counselors, these nightly visualization sessions where he'd meet with figures he admired, think historical figures, innovators, and essentially pick their brains for guidance and advice.
Wow, that's quite a visualization practice.
It is, but it speaks to the power of the subconscious mind and the idea that we can access incredible insights and inspiration if we know how to tap into that deeper level of awareness.
It's a powerful concept, for sure. But Hill wasn't all about mystical experiences and tapping into unseen forces. He also talks about very practical matters, like understanding the economic landscape of the time. He actually uses the example of having breakfast in a bustling city, like New York, and how even that simple act relies on a vast network of resources and infrastructure.
Absolutely. He reminds us that all this abundance, this progress, didn't just happen by chance. It was driven by innovators, entrepreneurs, capitalists, as he called them.
Capitalists. That's a word that could be a bit loaded these days.
It can be. But Hill's point was that these individuals, whether we call them capitalists or entrepreneurs, they're the ones creating opportunities, not just for themselves, but for everyone.
Okay, so we've got our burning desire. We're seeing the opportunities all around us. Now we have to actually make some decisions, right?
Exactly. And this is where Hill's emphasis on decisive action comes in. He was a firm believer in making decisions promptly and sticking with them, even when faced with doubts or challenges.
Easier said than done. I think we've all experienced that paralysis of analysis where we overthink things and end up stalling out.
Absolutely. And Hill understood that. He actually pointed to Henry Ford as a prime example of this principle in action.
Ford, as in the Model T Ford.
The one and only. Ford famously stuck with his Model T, even when everyone told him it was time for a change, time for something new.
Interesting. Some might call that stubbornness, but it sounds like Hill saw it as a form of decisiveness, a key factor in Ford's ultimate success.
Exactly. It's about having that unwavering commitment to your vision, even when faced with criticism or doubt. And this ties back to one of the 6 fears we talked about earlier, the fear of criticism.
Which can be paralyzing. I mean, who wants to put themselves out there only to be shot down or ridiculed? It's so much easier to just play it safe, stay under the radar.
It is, but Hill reminds us that other people's opinions are just that, opinions. He actually says, and I love this quote, "Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth."
So true. We give so much power to other people's thoughts about us, about our work.
We do. And Hill urges us to trust our own judgment, to have the courage to follow our own path, even if it means going against the grain. And this is even more crucial today than it was in Hill's time, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, think about the constant barrage of information, opinions, and advice we're bombarded with on a daily basis. It's overwhelming.
It is, and that's why it's so important to cultivate that inner compass, to learn how to filter out the noise and stay true to our own vision. Hill actually believed that some of the most impactful decisions, the ones that truly changed the game, often involve calculated risks.
He talks about the Founding Fathers signing the Declaration of Independence.
Exactly. A decision that could have cost them their lives. They were literally putting everything on the line for what they believed in.
Wow, talk about courage under pressure. Okay, so we're making decisions, we're taking action, but what happens when we inevitably hit those roadblocks? What happens when things don't go according to plan?
That's where Hill's principle of persistence comes in. He was adamant that there's no substitute for unwavering persistence when it comes to achieving great things.
He actually calls it the quality that separates those who achieve from those who simply dream.
Exactly. And he tells this amazing story about Fannie Hurst, the author.
I've heard of her. She wrote so many amazing books.
She did. But her journey to success was anything but easy. She struggled for years to break into Broadway, faced rejection after rejection. She could have easily given up.
But she didn't. She persisted and eventually became this incredibly successful playwright. What a story.
It is. And that's the power of persistence. Hill even personified failure as old man failure, this entity that eventually grows tired of trying to defeat those who refuse to give up.
The powerful image. So when we encounter those setbacks, it's not a sign to stop, but rather a challenge to rise to the occasion, to dig deeper, get creative, and find another way forward.
Exactly. And Hill even suggests that sometimes those setbacks, those challenges, are actually a test.
A test, like from the universe.
Maybe. Or perhaps from our own subconscious. It's a way to make sure we're truly committed to our goals, that we're willing to put in the work no matter what obstacles come our way.
I love that. It reframes those tough moments as opportunities for growth, as a testament to our dedication. Okay, so we've talked about the qualities that can propel us forward. Burning desire, persistence, a willingness to take risks. But what about those things that can sabotage our efforts? What are some of the things that hold people back from achieving their full potential?
Well, Hill doesn't shy away from tackling that either. In fact, he dedicates an entire chapter to what he calls the 30 major causes of failure.
30. Wow, that's quite a list. What are some of those dream-crushing habits we need to be aware of?
Well, he talks about the lack of a definite purpose, procrastination, the fear of criticism, which we've already touched upon, negativity, indecision, the lack of a well-defined sexual transmutation, the list goes on. But the important takeaway is that we need to be honest with ourselves about our weaknesses, about the things that might be holding us back.
So it's about self-awareness, taking responsibility for those self-sabotaging patterns.
Precisely. He doesn't just point fingers, though. Hill offers practical tools and strategies for addressing these challenges.
Such as? Give us some examples.
Well, he talks about the importance of self-analysis, really understanding our strengths and weaknesses. He emphasizes surrounding ourselves with positive influences, people who inspire and uplift us. And of course, he stresses the importance of taking responsibility for our thoughts and actions.
Right. It's not about blaming others or making excuses. It's about owning our choices and our outcomes.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that success mindset, believing in ourselves, and being willing to learn and grow. And this all ties back to the idea of impressing our goals upon our subconscious, which we talked about earlier. If we're constantly surrounded by negativity or engaging in self-sabotaging behaviors, it's going to be that much harder to achieve our goals.
It's like we're sending mixed messages to our subconscious, aren't we? We're saying we want success, but our actions, our thoughts, are telling a different story.
Exactly. Our inner world, our thoughts and beliefs has a profound impact on our external reality.
It's like, instead of focusing on all the things we don't have, all the ways we might fail, what if we shifted our attention to what we want to create, the qualities we want to embody?
Exactly. Hill was a big believer in the power of our thoughts to shape our reality. He said, "Energy flows where attention goes."
So if we're constantly dwelling on negativity or lack, we're actually attracting more of that into our experience.
It's like tuning your internal radio to a different frequency, right? You're going to attract a different outcome when you change your frequency.
I like that analogy. So if we want to attract success, abundance, fulfillment, we need to tune our thoughts and beliefs accordingly.
Exactly. And Hill provides some really practical tools for making that shift. He talks about the power of affirmations, visualizing your desired outcomes as if they've already happened.
And the importance of surrounding ourselves with positive influences, people who uplift and inspire us.
Absolutely. It's about creating an environment, both internally and externally, that supports your growth and nourishes your dreams.
Kind of like tending a garden.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure it gets enough sunlight and water, the right nutrients.
A perfect analogy. Now, speaking of inner resources, Hill also talks about the importance of understanding your QQS rating: quality, quantity, and spirit.
QQS. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. Break it down for me.
So Hill believed that achieving great things isn't just about being skilled or talented. It's about consistently bringing your best self to the table.
So it's not enough to just be good at something. You also have to be reliable, hardworking.
Exactly. It's about effort and attitude. You could be the most talented person in the room, but if you're lazy or negative, it's going to be hard to achieve lasting success. Hill believed that by focusing on those three elements, quality, quantity, and spirit, you could become a true force in your field, someone people want to work with, someone who inspires.
It's about becoming invaluable, someone people seek out because they know they can count on you to deliver.
Precisely. And it makes you think about those individuals we admire, those who seem to excel in everything they do. It's rarely just about talent, is it?
Right. It's about passion, dedication, the drive to contribute something meaningful.
Exactly. And, one of the things I appreciate most about Hill's work is his recognition that true success encompasses more than just external achievements. It's about who you become along the way.
He talks a lot about integrity, aligning our actions with our values.
He did. Hill believed that chasing money or fame at the expense of your integrity is a hollow victory.
It's about pursuing a life of purpose and meaning, not just chasing in material wealth.
Exactly. Hill understood that when our actions are aligned with our values, we create a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that transcends any external reward.
Wow, I love that. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. Think and Grow Rich is packed with so much wisdom, so many practical tools and strategies for achieving success.
It's a book that can truly change your life if you're open to its message.
It's a blueprint for unlocking your potential, no matter what your definition of success might be.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we're all capable of achieving extraordinary things if we dare to dream big, believe in ourselves, and put in the work.
And remember, as Hill said, every achievement, no matter how great, begins with a burning desire. What burning desire will you ignite today? This has been your deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and never stop reaching for your dreams.